coming to you from the work desk. It's day 8, and it's time for a quick strike. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dohyo. Today it is time for a quick strike, a small, tapa-sized amuse-bouche of an episode that keeps us hungry for more sumo. But beware, as we are going to be discussing through day 8 of the 2026 January basho. So if you have not watched through day 8 of the January 2026 basho, stop, because spoilers abound. So watch and return to us. First of all, just wanted to give a heads up to any of the Dohyo heads who happen to live in the United Kingdom. Mr. JWags will be performing in London a musical called Shining in Misery, a king-sized parody. It is a comedic parody musical based on the works of horror author Stephen King. So tickets are available. I will be there the last week of January. Details are on the screen, and I will link them below in the description if you are interested. UK is only like this big on the map, so I'm assuming you can walk to the theater. This has indeed been an exciting and wonderful January basho up to this point. In fact, the biggest surprise for me is number 1, no Kyujo. So happy to be wrong about that prediction. And the other one is the top of the Sanyaku all seem to be pulling in the same direction, and they all seem to be having great tournaments so far. But of course, none of our Ozeki or Yokozuna have faced each other yet. Up at the top of the leaderboard, no undefeated records left, but at 7-1 we have Sekiwake Kidishima and Maegashira 10 Abi. Both of them veterans who are a little past their peak, and both of them former champions. Now, of course, the problem with Kidishima has been, ever since he lost his Ozeki rank, has been the inconsistency. So if you look back through his past couple years, there's been a lot of double-digit wins, and then not so double-digit wins following that. This seems to be one of the good, healthy tournaments. He's already faced both Komusubi and faced Aonishiki and defeated him today, and that's been sort of difficult. The first time he's ever beaten Aonishiki. Now, while I'm not super optimistic about Kidishima's chances against Ono Sato, who knows? He might not be wrestling at that point. And he's about 50-50 with Hoshoryu, so let's see how far he can take this. I think Kidishima could be looking at a 12-3, and in this Banzake, that could be the Yusho. As for Abi, longtime viewers know how much I love Abi. I think Sumo is better with his little brother energy. He's 7-1. He started off so well, but all of his matches so far have been against double-digit Maegashira. So, yeah, I'm expecting a very rude awakening if Abi keeps this up and then ends up getting promoted around day 10 or day 11. Not expecting a lot of excellence there. But, he's already got 7 in the tank, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets up to 10. Yeah, 10 for Abi is what I'm expecting. Abi's only loss, of course, is to veteran Asanoyama, who's 5-3, a little bit worse than I expected him to do, so I guess Asanoyama's probably going to get Kachikoshi, may get up to 10 wins, but he's not going to get aggressively promoted into any sort of Yusho race at this point, I would believe. But 1 win down from the leaderboard, we have Yokozuna Hoshoryu and Ono Sato, Ozeki Aonishiki, Sekiwake Takayasu, Maegashira 4 Atami Fuji, Maegashira 7 Fujinokawa, Maegashira 14 Shishi, and Maegashira 16 Osho Umi. So our much ballyhooed top 3 coming into this tournament all seem to be tied at 3rd place right now, but they all seem to be wrestling fairly well. Our Yokozuna haven't looked their best, but 6-2 is respectable, and unless they're having a lot of injury pain, I expect them to make it through day 15 at this point. Aonishiki also lost a day to Kidishima for the very first time. I was expecting Aonishiki to struggle a little bit in this tournament, and it still could happen, but I was expecting him to get fewer than 10 wins, but at this point, I'm expecting him to probably end up around 10 or 11 wins again. I'm not expecting back-to-back Yusho from Aonishiki. Honestly, what the heart wants, my heart wants this to be the Takayasu Yusho, and he is looking excellent right now. If he could keep this up for a bit, I could see him winning 6 out of his next 7, and if that happens, that's a 12-3. Now, as for Atami Fuji, he seems to have hit a very strong bounce back, but if you look at his opponents, he has not faced any Sanyaku members, and he gets Hoshoryu today. So I'm not expecting a win today from Atami Fuji, and probably not if he keeps getting pushed up to face the top of the Sanyaku. Hoping Atami Fuji finishes around 9-6, I think would be an optimistic place for him to finish once he starts facing the best of the best. Now, Fujinokawa and Shishi have both had amazing tournaments, doing far better than I expected, and it's really weird because I don't think I could pick 2 more different wrestlers physically. Fujinokawa looks utterly fearless. I'm still convinced he is going to hit a ceiling at some point. So guys that size don't make deep Sanyaku runs. They just haven't in the history of sumo. I would love to be proven wrong about this. Whereas a lot of guys who are the size of Shishi have done very well in sumo, but his problem has been he just hasn't been the most agile person. He's the old person I usually point to. Is like, see, size doesn't get you championships just automatically. You need a little bit more. But it seems like his footwork has gotten a bit better, noticeably since last year. And if he can get just a modicum of good footwork in there, I think Shishi's career could take off. Not necessarily to like a Yusho winning championship, but I think that means he could stay in Makuuchi for the next year or two. And Osho Umi has been having a good run so far. He's still relatively young, only 24. It looks like he's going to be staying up in Makuuchi, but like Abi, all of his victories have come from the low Maegashira ranks, and if he gets promoted upwards, I'm not expecting him to do that well. So enjoy your time near the leaderboard, Osho Umi. Honorable mention to Yoshino Fuji at 4-4, because he's 4-4, but did manage to beat both of our Yokozuna. A fascinating tournament for Yoshino Fuji. Now, of course, the weird thing about sumo is that the most excellent wrestlers have very few kinboshi because they didn't spend a lot of time in Maegashira. So if Yoshino Fuji ends up being the type of wrestler who gets a lot of kinboshi, that just means he's a very inconsistent wrestler. Because essentially what it's saying is that you are good enough to regularly face and defeat Yokozuna, but you are not good enough to hang out in the Sanyaku where you can't get a kinboshi. Heading on down to the Juryo line, it looks like we already have a demotion in store. Hatsuyama at Maegashira 17 has started 0-8, and there's nowhere to go but down from there. Also, I'm a little worried about Tobizaru at Maegashira 13 with only a 2-6. But other than that, we're not looking at a lot of movement right now in the lower Juryo ranks, but a lot could change in 7 days. We have a 4-way tie for the Juryo Yusho at the moment with Fuji Seiyun, Sadano Umi, Kaio, and Wakanosho. Fuji Seiyun looks real close to promotion, as does Kotoeho up there at Juryo 1, so I'd be looking at them to both get their Kachikoshi and move on up. And one more quick update, down at Makushita 11, Enho has started 4-0. Now, Maegashira 11's a little bit tricky. If he wins the Makushita Yusho 7-0, he's getting promoted up to Juryo. But if he only gets to 6 wins, that probably means he's getting promoted to Makushita 2 or 3 next tournament, and then he would need about 5 wins to guarantee getting up to Juryo. Of course, Enho only needs 1 more tournament in the paid ranks to qualify for Elder Stock, so we're hoping he can do that this year. Go Enho, we love the Lotus Prince. Alright, that's all I got for you right now. Hopefully I will be able to do another one of these from London and get it out to you before the end of the basho. But if not, I will see you all for the recap. Thank you all for joining us on this quick strike.